Could Antarctica be the cradle of an ancient civilization? Who lives under the ice of this mysterious continent? And why does a hole the size of an entire country form in the middle of Antarctica? Today, we'll try to figure this out. This is Infinity, and in this episode, I'll tell you about the unexplained, strange, and unusual things that are happening in Antarctica right now. Let's go. Among the crazy theories about Antarctica, there is a legend of an underwater city. Surprisingly, even some historians share this point of view. But could Antarctica actually have appeared in the place of the long-lost Atlantis? Or is the consonance nothing more than a coincidence? If ancient legends are to be believed, Atlantis is a mythical island. The hypothesis of an Antarctic Atlantis was first published in an Italian journal nearly half a century ago. The article reported that American scientists have found undeniable traces of prehistoric high civilization, which existed on our planet about 15,000 years ago. This hypothesis was further developed in the book by Italian Barbiero Flavio, A Civilization Under the Ice, which proved that Atlantis was located in the place of the current Antarctica. The climate at that time was quite warm until about 10 to 12,000 years ago, when the Earth collided with a celestial body of enormous mass and size. The impact shifted the Earth's axis, resulted in floods, gigantic earthquakes, and heavy rains that destroyed Atlantis. Antarctic Atlantis completely fits the ancient legends, as it's located simultaneously in the Pacific and Indian and the Atlantic Oceans. In full accordance with Plato's story, its inhabitants could control the shores of 3 continents at once. Strange skulls. It was truly mind-blowing news that skulls had recently been found in the ice of Antarctica. Unusual skulls. 3 oblong-shaped ancient skulls were claimed to have been discovered on the continent by a team of archaeologists. Reports claim that an archaeologist named Damian Waters and his team discovered the skulls in an area called Lapaye. They were originally claimed to be the first human remains found in Antarctica. Then their name was suddenly changed to First Alien Remains Found on Earth. It's important to note that similar elongated skulls have been found before, mostly in Egypt, Syria, and Mesopotamia. All the ice of the world. There are many rumors and conspiracy theories surrounding Antarctica. Were there really the Third Reich bases here? Theoretically, it's possible. A huge snow-covered wasteland, 1.5 times the size of the United States, is an ideal place for a secret training ground. 99% of Antarctica is made up of ice. Yes, there's too much of it. Scientists estimate that the eastern and western parts of the continent represent 90% of the total ice on the planet. But even such harsh conditions do not stop scientists and travelers. Since the 1820s, a variety of groups and teams have been sent to the continent. One of the mysteries explorers encountered during their visits was the so-called singing ice. For example, the huge Ross ice shelf sings almost constantly, and even right now. The frequency of this sound is too low to be heard by the human ear, but seismic sensors are up to the task. Scientists say the strange singing is caused by strong winds, which make the snow and ice on the surface of the shelf vibrate. But then how can the sudden change of the singing tone be explained? As it turned out, it does not depend on the change of winds. Could it be that the ice singing is caused by something else, not yet explainable? The driest land. It's hard to believe, but it's in Antarctica that some of the driest lands on our planet are located. I'm talking about the McMurdo Dry Valleys, which have an area of about 8,000 square meters and consist of 3 Antarctic oases. They're almost completely free of snow and ice. The reason for this is the strongest winds blowing close to the ground and reaching speeds of 150 kilometers per hour. Scientists have found out that some parts of the McMurdo Dry Valleys have not had precipitation for 2 million years. The area is considered especially protected due to the absence of ice cover. It's convenient to conduct geological research. In addition, the McMurdo Dry Valleys are close to the natural conditions of Mars, and therefore spacecraft were tested in the valleys. New creature. Recently, at a depth of about 350 meters, American archaeologists discovered something truly frightening. The Antarctic creature they found resembled none of those already known to science. What class would it belong to? So far, this is unknown. Fortunately, the new creature was relatively small. Its body length was only 20 centimeters. We shouldn't be too afraid, even if it's just another hoax. Could it be something extraterrestrial? This is not yet known, but what is known is that even more interesting creatures have been found in Antarctica, which really were extraterrestrial in origin. These finds were discovered quite recently. Stay tuned to find out all the details and to see other strange things happening on the icy continent right now. Let's move on. On the bright and flat wastelands of Antarctica, any change is clearly visible. Of course, in such an environment, a meteorite fall simply cannot go unnoticed. It's partly for this reason that most of the meteorites we've studied have been found on the icy continent. Over the past 50 years, about 10,000 meteorites of different shapes and sizes were found in Antarctica. Some of them are several billion years old. Among them, there are guests from Mars. What might Antarctica and the planet Mars have in common? At least some rocks. The Martian meteorite known as Allen Hills 84001 was found in the Allen Hills Mountains in Antarctica back in December 1984. This find caused a wide public outcry because of the fossilized microscopic structures found on the surface of the meteorite, which could be bacteria. The question of the extraterrestrial origin of bacteria is still open, but it's supported by the fact that the size of the found structures is 20 to 100 nanometers in diameter, which is much smaller than any known form of cellular life. Scientists speculate that the meteorite broke away from Mars 4 billion years ago. At that time, there was still liquid water. The rest of the meteorites found on Earth are from a later period. The find was truly unique, confirming the theory of extraterrestrial origin of bacteria. In addition, according to scientists, it's of interest for the reason that this particular meteorite may have destroyed vegetation in ancient tropical Antarctica. Finds from Mars were discovered in the 21st century as well. Another meteorite of Martian origin was found in December 2003, 750 kilometers from the South Pole. And here we got another small meteorite that hit the Earth in 2002. It was found only in 2015. This specimen featured fossilized remains of bacteria from the red planet. How long do we have to wait for something larger to arrive on a meteorite? Hole. Scientists believe that Antarctica's terrain is not as static as it first appears. For example, in 2017, a huge hole the size of Ireland was discovered in the middle of the continent. According to scientists, usually large cavities are formed in relative proximity to the boundary ice and sea. But the hole, which has been dubbed the Polynya, was located several hundred kilometers from the dividing line. This indicates that it appeared as a result of some unknown processes. A previous hole of this size appeared here in the 1970s, but it remained unstudied due to a lack of satellite observation facilities. For the next 40 years, the sea ice cover remained intact. Scientists believe it's premature to say that the hole in the sea ice was caused by global climate change, but there's still no answer to the question of what exactly causes such holes to appear every half-century. The secret life. It's hard to imagine that such a harsh region as Antarctica could be inhabited by a huge number of species, but it is an objective reality. The scientific community has been convinced by the discovery of lakes beneath layers of ice several meters high. Scientists believe that living organisms can live in lake waters because they contain all the factors necessary for life. For example, fresh water with high oxygen content and relatively high water temperature. Microorganisms adapted to life under such conditions may have unique properties because they've been isolated from the terrestrial biosphere for a long period of time, and thus their evolutionary processes have proceeded independently. The available data indicate that bacteria are the most likely candidates for life in a subglacial lake. It's these creatures that would be able to survive in total darkness and an excess of oxygen. But have scientists been able to find such bacteria? In 2014, a thriving and active ecosystem was discovered in one lake. The microorganisms had been cut off from fresh air and light for millions of years, yet survived thanks to methane and ammonium. This discovery suggests that alien life is not as impossible as previously thought. What prevents such an ecosystem from inhabiting, for example, Jupiter's icy satellite, Europa? And in early October 2016, scientists reported the discovery of what they said was a unique organism in the subglacial lake Vostok in Antarctica. The bacterium they found had a genetic resemblance to living things known to modern science of only 86%. It's believed that this unique bacterium, which could survive at a pressure of 400 atmospheres, may be extraterrestrial in origin. This is indicated by its genetic and chemical composition. Scientists explain that the bacterium was able to survive in the subglacial lake, which was formed 15 million years ago, due to the fact that there are geothermal springs at the bottom of the lake and the water is highly enriched with oxygen. That's all, guys. Do you believe that there are other extraterrestrial creatures living in Antarctica? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.